Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Let's start out today's video. We've got 20 balance changes to go through. I'm going to be ranking all 8 hypercharges coming to the game as well, ranking them from best to worst. And yeah, there's just a bunch of balance changes we can go through. These aren't going to be coming into a game until like over a week now, just because sneak peeks had to be pushed forward a little bit because of the leaks, unfortunately. But these are work in progress as well. So if you guys are unhappy about any of the balance changes, or maybe some hypercharges too broken, then feel free to write down in the comment section below, and maybe there's enough time for the dev team to make some changes. So anyways, let's jump into it, straight into the nerfs. So we're going to be nerfing RT's hypercharge damage and shield. So this was a bug, I believe, or just it probably shouldn't have been a thing. Both his hypercharge damage and his shield has been decreased from 25% to 15%. So just putting it in line to what it should have been. Tara is receiving a nerf to her support from Beyond Gadget. It's going from 15-second cooldown to a 17-second cooldown. I think the big problem with Tara is actually a hypercharge rate. It charges too quickly, but this is definitely a nice nerf. I still foresee Tara being easily the best gem grab brawler still. Kit is receiving a nerf to his hypercharge rate. It's going from needing 8 hits to 10 hits, which is a 25% nerf. It seems big, but I really think his hypercharge probably needs to at least take 12 hits, maybe even 14 hits to charge up, because it's just fundamentally absolutely broken. So it may impact him a little bit, but I still think it's going to be an S tier brawler. Mr. P is receiving a nerf. His hypercharge rate is going from 2.8 supers to 3.3 supers, which is an 18% nerf. I don't think this was needed whatsoever in pro play. I think I overrated a little bit on my tier list like a month ago. I think it's like a steady B tier brawler, maybe even towards a low B tier, because just too many aggressive options right in the meta. But I think for that kind of mid ladder, you know, around the legendary stage and ranked, etc., Mr. P's win rates are really alarmingly high. So I don't mind it though, because his hypercharge is very toxic, so I don't mind the nerf. Oh, is receiving a nerf to his hypercharge rate. Before it took 2.2 supers to get, now it takes 2.5 supers to get. So I believe this is like maybe a 1 or 2 hit change, which is a 14% nerf. Again, Bo wasn't played in monthly finals, I think, even once, so this is more of a nerf to bring him in line in, again, that kind of like legendary period in ranks, because like he's a decent pick there. Like he's not like a horrible brawler in the game, but I don't think it really needed a nerf. But again, it's a hypercharge right now, so I don't mind these type of nerfs. So we have a nerf to Lillian. Boy, did she need a nerf. She's received a nerf to her hypercharge super projectile. So if you guys were unaware, a hypercharge projectile was just insane. Like you cannot miss it at maximum range. You can auto aim it across the map. So it's received a 10% projectile speed nerf, which is pretty decent. I still think Lily's going to be very strong, and it's still going to be easy to hit hypercharge. I think they needed to nerf her hypercharge rate on top of this, so I still easily see her being an A tier brawler. And lastly, for the nerfs, which I'm a little bit disappointed about, there's probably not enough or harder nerfs here, which I would have liked, especially to Kit, etc. Anyways, it is Bonnie. So Bonnie is receiving a hypercharge rate nerf. Again, disappointed by this one, from 2.5 supers to 2.85 supers. So yeah, I think this just needs an extra hit to get. Again, I don't really like this. I think Bonnie needed a much harsher nerf to the hypercharge rate, so she's still going to be S tier easily. Now let's move on to your buffs, and there's a rework in this as well, which I'm excited for. I was calling for this in my last set of balance changes. I feel like they've been listening, but maybe not this one exactly. BIBI's home run now charges no matter the ammo, so you can shoot one shot and that ball will start recharging immediately. So you can have unlimited knockbacks essentially here. I think this will be really good. The thing that people forget about as well, this buffs both her star powers, because both her star powers work around her home run bar being fully just filled up. So yeah, you're going to be able to just have a lot more speeds, a lot more shields maybe. I think BIBI will be a lot better. I don't actually see her being like some broken brawler. I might be wrong, but I think she'll be a viable option now. I'm excited to try it out. This is a really interesting rework, and she's been crying out for something like this. Otis is receiving 2 buffs. He's receiving a health buff. His health is going from 6,400 to 6,800, which is a 6% buff, so nothing crazy, but definitely bumping him up a bit in terms of the gem grab and the Brawl meta. And he's receiving a damage buff from 920 damage to 1,000, so a 9% buff. So this is a big damage buff. I think the main problem with Otis was just mainly the map pool, and yeah, he definitely didn't deal enough damage to keep up with the aggressive meta. So I think this will allow him to counter his counters again, if that makes sense. So he'll be a good counter into like Kenji, some assassins, etc. So I think he'll be an underrated pick now. Next, we have a slight rework with Shelly. So finally, after years and years, her fast forward gadget is receiving some type of buff. It's been terrible for a long time. So now when you activate fast forward, you reload all of your ammo. So this is an interesting change. Clay pigeons is a really, really good gadget, but getting all of your ammo back, like that leads to some interesting like plays, in my opinion. Yeah, this is gonna be a good change. I don't think it's gonna like make Shelly broken, but I think it might make this gadget viable, seriously. So we have a buff with 8-bit. His damage is going from 1,280 to 1,360, so that's a 6% buff overall. Nothing crazy. I did start to feel like 8-bit was falling down the meta, so this probably brings him in line. I'm a little bit scared though. All of his brawlers receiving damage buffs, but yeah, I think he's just going to be a good pick again. Chuck is receiving a hypercharge rate buff, which is hard to really tell in game because of how his super works, but essentially all you need to know, he's receiving a 33% buff to his hypercharge rate. So that's all sounds pretty good. I still think it might be hard to charge his hypercharge, and his hypercharge isn't even that good anyway. So yeah, I mean, at least you can use his purple button now. Gale is receiving a buff to his main attack damage. It's going from 560 damage to 600 per snow that you hit, so 7% damage buff overall for Gale. Again, I think this is going to slowly put him up in the meta. I think this could be a nice change. I'm liking these small little buffs that are bringing the underpowered brawlers a little bit back. I don't think it's going to again make him like crazy, but I think it definitely will make him more of an option for sure. Clancy is receiving 3 changes. He is receiving 2 buffs and 1 nerf. So the first one is to his level 1. Before it used to take 9 hits to get to his next level. Now it takes 7 hits, so that's a 22% buff. His level 2, now it will require him to like go up a level from level 2 to level 3. It will require 7 hits instead of 8 hits, which is a 13% buff. So all in all, like, it will take you 3 less hits to get all the way up to your maximum level. And the recon star power is receiving a nerf. So before it used to give you 3 extra tokens, but now it only gives you 2. So all in all, I think this will be a really, really big change to Clancy, and mainly because he just suffered for so long in his first form. So yeah, he's going to be ramping up the damage a lot more successfully now. I think he'll be a great tank counter now. Since receiving a buff to his main attack projectile speed, it is being buffed by 10%. So it's a little bit harder to try in the dev build because I get really bad ping, but a 10% buff is substantial, really, really big. I think already, like, he wasn't slept on, but there definitely was some strategies that people weren't really looking into. So with this 10% speed buff, I think he could be back in the meta. I still think like the meta's a bit too aggressive for him to be like crazy OP, but this will 100% make him such a good option in so many maps. And the last buff is going to Leon. So I'm not sure if it works in the dev build, but by the text, it says Leon's proximity damage is being buffed from 30% to 35%. So I'm guessing at that really close distance, he's going to be dealing that extra bit of damage. That is what I kind of gauged from this. Again, it wasn't working in the dev build, so yeah, this is going to be nice for Leon. It means he should be able to take down brawlers a lot easier up close, which he definitely needed. It's not anything crazy again, but I think it might actually make him like, I don't know, an off meta pick. Okay, so now I'm going to be ranking all of the new 8 hypercharges in the game. Literally, this could change as well before it even makes it into the game, but it's just my gut feeling, especially after testing them out. So to start with, at number 8, I went with Finks. So Finks, you might think straight away, well, his super's broken, his hypercharge has got to be broken, right? So if you guys are unsure what it is, his hypercharge is called Temporal Traveling. So it's just like his mutation, I believe. You get to throw a super, and then a super is always active around you. That is pretty broken, right? But the big problem here is that people forget is the hypercharge rate. The hypercharge rate, it takes 4 supers to build this up. And me personally, even into really good matchups, you might add a stretch, get 3 supers in a game. Very, very, very rarely will you get 4 supers in a game. So I just think it's impossible to even charge his hypercharge. If they buff his hypercharge rate, this will be a really, really good one. Like, one of the best ones out of the new batch. But just alone, purely from this, yeah, again, I think it's going to be like an Angelo problem where you never get the hypercharge. At number 7, I went with Trunks hypercharge. So this hypercharge, again, wasn't really working in dev build, but everything is in progress. But Trunks super causes them to leave ants on enemies, which deal damage over time. So it sounds pretty cool, but again, there's some big problems with Trunks. So he's a tank that doesn't have the tank trait, so he's not getting hypercharge from receiving damage, which is again like a big thing, and it takes him 3.4 supers to fully charge up this hypercharge. So I'm just not convinced. Again, I didn't get to really test it out that much in the dev build, but I just think you're never going to be able to get your hypercharge in the game currently unless he receives some type of buff in the next update. Yeah, so I think this one sucks. Honestly, it could be worse than things. They're probably equal at the bottom right now. I'm just not really excited for this one whatsoever. 6th best hypercharge coming out with the update is going to be Jae Young's, in my opinion. So Jae Young's hypercharge is called Crowd Pleaser. So Jae's super has a reduced cooldown during hypercharge, so you can just keep spamming your super like crazy, and each super activation is boosted. So this sounds all well and good, and it is a really good hypercharge when you think about it, because you can give speed and a lot of health to your teammates really quickly, and then you can overwhelm the opponents. It would be a really fantastic hypercharge. I'm excited to test out the synergies, etc. But again, my reservations will lie in its hypercharge rate. So of course, Jae Young works a little bit funkier because he charges the super automatically. So it's basically with the amount of damage that you're dealing, that charges up your hypercharge quicker. So if you're popping the gadget, which gives you increased main attack damage for 5 seconds, around 13 hits with that damage, that's how long it'll take for the super hypercharge. But if you're using the least damage attack, which is the speed one, it would take over 20. I didn't even get to manage to work this out fully, but over 20 hits to get your hypercharge. That is substantial. I don't know whether you're going to get a hypercharge through your speed. So you mainly use the speed and the damage in pro play. It mainly is speed. So yeah, I don't think in knockout bounty you're really going to be getting this hypercharge. But yeah, Jae Young's hypercharge is pretty good. I just don't know whether you're going to charge it that much. The 5th best new hypercharge coming out is Meeple's hypercharge. So Meeple's hypercharge, the last rule bender, it allows you and your teammates to walk through walls, walk on water. It has a much larger area coverage as well, which is really nice, and it only takes 2 supers to charge up. So I feel like this one might be a little bit underrated. The biggest drawback with Meeple definitely is because it has such a slow reload speed, but I think that extra area coverage as well, I might be underrating this one. This honestly could be number 2 on my list. I think I will be regretting this for sure, but it is a good one. Definitely the top 5, all of them are really strong, and this one will be good as well because you get a plus 20 damage boost on top of this. So you're going to be auto aim spamming, dealing 3.2 3.3k damage with Meeple with every single shot. So the hypercharge is good. I think there'll be some cheesy strategies as well. Yeah, I'm excited for this one. Maybe I'm not giving it enough credit. So what's the 4th best new hypercharge? I went with Byron, so it's called Unstable Concoction. So with Byron's super, his main attack will fire in all directions from the point of impact. So it's just like a much bigger explosion. This will just imagine kind of a Gus as well. Even you'll see in the gameplay, but this will really help you out against aggressive brawlers. So again, just like Gus, so a support brawler that can defend himself a little bit better. I like it. You can also of course make aggressive plays with this as well, and it takes 2.6 supers to charge up, which is pretty fast charging, especially for Byron. I think it's not anything crazy. Probably expected a little bit better, but again, it's hard to tell against bots. But this could do a stupid amount of damage. You got to think with Byron as well. His super, he can throw over walls, so it's going to be like a mini dynamite super essentially. This could be really strong, so definitely don't underestimate this one. It'll be a very good hypercharge. At number 3, I went with Juju's hypercharge. So Juju's hypercharge, it has a lot of buffs, and I'm scared. Everyone was scared about this one because Grigri was a menace for a long time until Juju got those supercharge rate nerfs. So with Juju's hypercharge, let me just list the amount of buffs that Grigri gets. So he gets bigger needles, so that allows him just to hit more shots. 25% more speed, 20% more health, and 20% more damage. That is 4 buffs in total. And on top of this, it only takes 2 supers to farm up. The biggest drawback is that she received quite a lot of supercharge rate nerfs, which will probably take her a little while to fully get that hypercharge. But I think once you get one, you're going to be able to cycle really easily. You're going to be able to hit opponents with Grigri so easily now because of the bigger needles. I'm scared of this one. I'm going to be honest. Juju, I'd say it's like a low B tier brawler in the meta right now. She's just not being used at all. She's just been power crept by a lot of different brawlers. Well, not really power crept, but she just got big nerfs that just impacted her a lot more. But yeah, I think this will return her to maybe even the S tier. Second best Hypercharge has to be Larry's Hypercharge. This is going to be scary. I knew when Hypercharges even first came out that if the Twins got one, it would be game over. And I think it might be absolutely S tier right now with this Hypercharge. So it takes 2 supers to charge up, but the Hypercharge super itself, it just spawns another bot. So of course, normally you just spawn 1, but it's going to be 2 with you, and that's going to have increased damage and increased health on top of this. It's not affected by your gadgets, by the way, but it's going to help you build up super even more. It's going to eat up so much ammo. They're just going to be a menace. Like, it's just plain and simple. Yeah, I'm scared, guys. I'm scared because Larry already was, I think, a pretty balanced brawler, but also kind of underrated. Like, solid B tier. But this Hypercharge is just going to catapult him to the S tier. Absolutely. It's going to be a must ban everywhere. Yeah, it's going to be filthy. 2 supers to charge up. I'm scared. Okay, so now moving on to the final Hypercharge on the list. The best one, and I think this is clear. It's absolutely broken. It is Ollie's Hypercharge. So Ollie's Hypercharge, you can now jump over walls with it. Okay, that's just insane in itself. It has a much larger blast area, so you're able to hypnotize in a much larger radius. So you're basically not going to miss a single one. And it won't consume your ammo. So I think they went a bit overkill with this. And Ollie already was criminally underrated in the meta, really good at knockout and bounty in pro play. Now he's just going to be back everywhere. I mean, he was slowly dropping with every single set of balance changes because he just wasn't receiving any buffs himself. But yeah, the Hypercharge is going to catapult him S tier. I think it's going to be the best brawler in the game, hands down, because it only takes 2 supers to build up this Hypercharge as well. So there is hardly any drawbacks to this whatsoever. This is crazy. I feel like the meta will literally revolve around Ollie counters. So, for example, like Buster with his star power and with his super, so Ollie can't hypnotize him. Like, it's literally going to be an Ollie meta again. So, yeah, this Hypercharge, definitely the best one. The other ones can definitely be, I'd say, interchanged. Like Larry, Juju, Bar, and Meeple, all of them are very solid. But this one's a clear favorite, guys. But let me know down in the comment section below what you would rank the Hypercharges, which ones you think are broken, and also the balance changes as well. But again, these are work in progress. Maybe I can give word to the dev team if anything seems crazy broken like this Ollie one. And yeah, that's going to be it, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.